Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 52 of Thick and Thin with LB Duty and Hitman. Hitman, what are you doing over there? Oh my God, that's fucking awesome. I wish everyone could see Google chat. He was like, what was that? You were shooting things. That was like the dumbest. Wow.
Pistol Pete, baby.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was
This
the guy
week's
from
what was that?
Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore.
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin. Good job.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the show. This week's episode, we're going to talk about the gaming Goliaths and David versus Goliath, whether we're headed to another industry collapse like we had in the 80s with the gaming companies, or if independent gaming can save it, or if it's even good for this industry. We don't know. We have a couple little site news things and all the other normal stuff that we do. People in chat, hanging out, kicking ass, taking names. But before we get to all of that, let's talk with the man with the heavy bowels. The man that needs at least 40 minutes pre-show in order to expel what he's eaten the whole day. LBSUTK, what's up, baby?
Well, it wasn't 40 minutes. Let's get it straight.
20 minutes, maybe?
It was 15 to 20.
To 30.
15 to 20.
To 30. Okay. And from Canada, the man with all the bacon, hoarding it for everyone, day in and day out. Hitman, what's going on, buddy?
Not much.
Hitman, what's it like to know that me and you are the only ones that work on the show?
Oh, my God.
What's that like for you? To know that you have all this
I don't
power?
really think about it, but yeah.
No, it's a tough life. You know, we do what we got to do.
Gotta take naps when you get home from work.
Take
It's
naps.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah, LB just wakes up, does what he wants, takes a shit. I have to shit right now, but I can't because I got a show to do. I'm just going to shit my pants. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shit my pants. All right. So, yeah, today's topic, we're talking about gaming and this perceived, well, I guess it's perceived. A lot of the news recently has kind of been coming out of, you know, whether or not we're going to hit the 80s crash again. I don't know if we are, but before we get to that, LB, why don't you take them around a little bit of the site news? This is your one job. You feel like you can do it right now? Feel like
I think I can.
All right, good. Let's do it.
I think I'm capable.
All right. I'm excited. What do we got?
Got the skills. Anyways, as you see, new TNT show date is on Thursday, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. So we are at our new night, celebrating the big kickoff. And as you can also see, we have a new effects soundboard to use in Google Hangout.
Yeah, we like
so
it. Good stuff.
expect greatness.
We will.
And some rather auspicious news. Some updates that not a lot of people will think will actually come to fruition.
This is true.
But new version of Too Old to Play V4, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, I will give it over to my cohort, Dude I Rock / whatever man.
Yeah. Well done.
Is
yeah.
it for real?
So yes, for real. So I started this week actually on version 4 of Tool to Play. More of an initiative than a feature change. What we're going to do with the new version is make it mostly mobile compatible, make it a responsive design. So it's probably going to be more of a redesign than a feature set change. But we're going to tidy up a lot of the stuff that we're doing. One of the big things that we're going to be changing is how the forums work. It's something I was showing LB, and he's actually already right now saying, "Dear God, this is going to be a disaster." But we're going to get rid of all the gaming forums, and it's going to be porn 24/7.
Yes.
No, but it's what we're going to do is the way the new forum system will work, because we have so many games coming out. When we first started Tool to Play, it was always Halo. So it was one forum. It was really easy to maintain. But now we have so many different forums and new games come out, and Defiance was a new release. And now there's a lot of topics on Defiance. And that may or may not continue for the next couple months. We don't know. And it's like, do we want to make a whole new forum for Defiance? And then what happens is you get people coming to the site and they have no idea if we're playing a game. Like they might say, I want to play StarCraft, but I don't see a StarCraft forum. What do we do? So the way the new site's going to be built out, at least the forum structure, we're going to take tags essentially. And anytime you want to search for a game or you make a post about a game, we'll have a game's inventory that you can tag your post with. So when you come to the site and you say, I want to see all of the Halo 4 posts, you just have a little drop down where you click on Halo 4 and it spits out all the posts. So instead of having that container called Halo 4 everything will be contained within a tag. You can tag it however you want. So if you want to check out all the Halo 4 and Halo 3 posts, or Halo 4 competitive posts, or MMO only posts, or whatever, you'll be able to sort the forum in that fashion. The idea behind it is that you'll be able to quickly get to the topics that you want to see without having to do the whole scroll down and find the actual gaming forum. And then this way, we don't have to make brand new forums for new games. When new games come out, we just put the tag into the system, and anytime you want to search that post or make a post on that certain tag or game, rather, you can do that. And so we'll be able to sort it by console, PS3, show me only PS3 posts, show me PS3 posts that are attributed to Destiny, let's say, so on and so forth. So we're going to have it by genre, by console, platform, etc., etc., etc. That's the big major change with version 4. The other big major change is going to be just how the site looks. Not that the site's that old to many people because we just launched, but that design was actually designed almost 2 years ago, because we all know version 3 didn't take very long to build, right? It was a 5-year process. So that's actually a very old design for me, and it doesn't, I don't think, show off what we're all about now in Tool to Play. We have a lot more video content. We have a lot more editorial content. We kind of have the groups section of the site living on its own at this point, and a lot of those community features are sort of muted. We'd like to kind of highlight a little bit more of those, get people more involved with events and stuff, and have a really nice calendar and things like that. So just a lot of shift is what we're planning with the new version. So hopefully, because it's not a lot of feature changes, it won't take that long. But since I'm telling you now on this date that I just started, let's give it about 2-3 years. Is that fair? Yeah.
And just let everybody know, he did show me an example of what it was. Now, honestly, the functionality of it is pretty nice. It's the filtering and everything. It'll be a nice thing to have. Excuse me. The user interface that we actually saw it on, I was not happy with, but I have faith in Duty's experience, not only with our site, but other sites, that he can actually not make it look like a giant steaming pile of crap.
Right.
So that's my high five seal of improvement.
That's really not a great seal of improvement. That's good. It's close enough. I like that you're trying. But no, so the tags will, and people are asking in chat whether people will be able to remove tags. You'll be able to put in your own tags, but there will also be sort of a set list that moderators and administrators put in. So, if you want to have, let's say, what's a new game? Destiny or what? Oh, well, let's say, the new Halo game. We call it Halo because it's Destiny, because it's Bungie. So Destiny comes out. Obviously, we're going to know about that. We're going to put that in. But if you want to put in your own tag, you can. So you'll have the tag of your own, sort of like the user tag that goes along with a post, but then you'll have sort of the functionality tag that keeps everything nice and ordered. So this way, when you're on a mobile phone, and that's, again, we're kind of thinking mobile in mind, touchscreen friendly and doing that whole deal, we want it to be really easy to navigate through the forums, and we don't think the scrolling and all this other bullshit that we currently have is very user-friendly. And I think it really, the other big part about Tool to Play that I think we're missing the boat on in terms of functionality, when a new person comes to the site, it's really hard. I mean, it's really, really hard to get into the site. You really kind of have to know people, and it's really, I don't know, it's ambiguous. Like, how do you get from one place to another? How do I get into a group? How do I do all these things? So we're going to really try an initiative to open the groups up. We're probably going to have a policy of no more closed groups at all. Instead of doing the whole, force you, if you have a closed group, to be open now, we're not going to do that, but we're essentially going to be like, you guys are on your own. This is your grandfathered in. Enjoy it, but we're not supporting it anymore, just because we don't think it really helps new people come to the site. It's slowly been a decline of how we've seen the community function, just because closing off the group means the new person that does come to the site can't really get into that group until someone from that group, for whatever reason, finds that person and then invites him in. And that's just a really hard thing to do. So, okay, can we not do, I guess we can. Anyway, I wish that I only had the power to do this, because you guys you just suck at this stuff. You're just bad at it. Your timing is horrible.
I tried. You kept going. I was waiting for the pause, and you're
right.
like blah 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 blah.
You're bad at what you do. is what I'm saying. You're bad at what you do. No, so that's the idea behind it. And so, we have essentially like, I want to say 10 to 30 new members per day. And the conversion rate on those members is almost nil. So clearly there's a problem. And there's been a problem for a while. And so I think what we're really trying to do with the new version is help those new members actually meet up with gamers. This is the point, right? I mean, it's fine that we have old members, and I understand that they're the ones that get really like, adamant about how they want their experience in Tool to Play. I think we've catered to those people for as long as humanly possible, but I think if we want to see growth again, we kind of have to open it up. Because there's just a fucking giant barrier between new players and old players. And we've seen like what a successful clan can do, like Forza and a bunch of the other clans when they are open and they actively are recruiting, it just grows daily. And we really want to foster that more. So I'm not saying we're getting rid of old clans. You guys can keep your little area on the site, but it probably just won't be supported anymore. And it won't be really advertised either. So we're just going to sort of subdue that part of the site. If you guys want to go out and recruit on your own and do your own thing, that's totally fine. But that's the shift we're going to try to make with version 4. Just kind of move everything to an easier to use interface, connect more people. We just started talking about it, I think 2 weeks ago, but we're going to implement a full-on tournament system for real this time. It's already there. It's already built, where any group can create a forum and create a, full-on tournament ladder system, many different types, like the E-ladders that you can possibly think of, and run them on their own, right? So it won't be administrated by Tool to Play. You can write your own tournament stuff and just go from there. So really to get people to connect and have like an active place to play video games once again. That's just the basic idea. So we'll see where we go from there. LB, what else we got on the site news?
Well, we've got quick hits out for Injustice Gods Among Us. Put that out past Tuesday, so if you get a chance, check it out. He put some good work into it and does a good job. So
good stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I split up the quick hit into 2 sections. Like I did 10 minutes of like multiplayer and like 20 minutes of campaign, and yeah, I was trying something out new there. So let me know what you guys think.
I like how you did the having a kind of a friend there. It just gave it a more lively feel.
Yeah, because I read a lot of comments in the section for quick hits where people were saying you should try having another person on, like getting like some sort of banter going. So yeah, I'm just trying stuff out with multiple people. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice, good stuff. Anything else on there, LB, or are we all good to go?
No, we've got a couple more things to talk about.
Hit me.
We've still got the GUI name change. Send in suggestions or get those suggestions to that group in by April 22nd. Now, as far as a hard date on that, this is going by what Duty says, so who knows?
Yeah,
but let's shoot for April 22nd. Let's get them in, send them in, and maybe you'll win some great prizes from D-Smooth. Who knows?
I like that.
The names that you set out at the last podcast.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them.
None of them.
None.
So what's a good one?
We need more names.
I want to. How come you can't give me a name? Give me a name.
I'm thinking I got till the 22nd.
You got some time.
I got time.
LB had a name, but it was just really bad. What was it again?
Twinkie Bears? Twinkie
Bears. Twinkie Bears. I always like the sick as shit podcast, but can't really do that.
That's kind of...
I know. I understand. I know.
Anyways, in the forum, there's actually, in the off-topic forum, there was a topic of game streaming or, Twitch streaming and that kind of thing. And I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but we want clans or people, if you have a regular night or a regular event and you want to stream it, use our site. If you're a member, DM, direct message, or even site message Duty and say, hey, we've got this going every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Is there any way we could use the Twitch site to show our gameplay? And he'll hook you up. He'll let you know passwords and show what you got. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a clan thing. It'd be nice if it was a clan thing, but a regular thing would be a light criteria, let's say. Yeah. Not just, some random member likes to play every Monday night. Let's see what he does. Something a little bit more involved. So that would be great. It's pretty simple. If you go to that thread, there's some great examples of different hardware you could use if you want to go like super top end, if you want to go medium range, if you want to go cheapo. You've got the whole thing. So take a look at it, and if you do, just let Duty know.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, I would like to see some more of the clan stuff out there. I mean, I'd like to see, people that actually play on a weekly basis. Because I know a lot of people have their week, their day to play during the week. Like, I play Tuesdays, Thursdays. So after this show, I'll play Warcraft for probably like 2 hours before I go to bed. So, like, if you've got that regular scheduled deal, I think it'd be kind of fun to have your clan on and do, like, a little bit of banter. You know what I mean? Have fun, talk shit, drink beers. Be like Tool to play. That's the other thing too. Like, I don't want like some like show where people feel like they need to be like, worry about our brand. Like we're gonna hurt someone's feelings. If you want to swear and get drunk, take a dump on the camera, go for it. I don't care. I'll slap Tool to play right underneath that piece. That's the way I roll. Yeah. Don't care at all. So yeah, get on that. Do it.
I also wanted to suggest if there's any like Call of Duty clans or groups that are having like play dates or whatever, and nobody like they don't know anyone that streams. I'd be willing to like get on the spectator mode and live stream from spectator mode and do some live commentary or whatever. So just putting it out there. Like if you can stream, we can stream for you as well, right? So
yeah,
you have play dates or tournaments or whatever,
Do it up. See, Hit's even giving his services out to you for free.
I've always wanted to do that. I would take advantage of that option and
do the the commentator stuff.
So yeah, if anyone wants to do it,
talk to Lala and see if he'll do that because I think that'd be kind of fun. It sounds like a kind of a cool thing to do. If I own the game, I would do it with you, but I don't like Call of Duty anymore. I've banned that from my repertoire.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a reason, and this is a good segue because these AAA games are starting to suck balls. So. Let's go for the topic. Let's segue in. I've talked about it at the top of the show. The big thing that we're seeing in the news nowadays, especially like in the last month or so, and even before that, is these major big companies who are putting out $300 million units, and then they're selling like 2 million copies, 3 million copies, and it's killing them, right? I mean, they're closing doors, they're firing people, and it seems to just be this cannibalize and then, spit out, right? So they find a new IP from another small company. They buy them up. They buy the studio. They launch the new IP. It fails. They fire everyone from the studio. They close its doors. And all these developers are sort of in this round table of spinning in and out of having jobs. And that's kind of how it's been for the last, I'd say, almost 5 years of the life cycle of the Xbox 360 and the PS3. And a lot of analysts are now saying, and I think this was on IGN today as well, that we're headed for a big crash. And the same thing happened in the 80s, where essentially there weren't that many big companies back then. There was like Atari. I'm trying to think of who was around there. Obviously, Nintendo was publishing, and a couple other smaller ones. But by and large, there weren't that many. There was a kind of the big few, and gaming got to be too expensive, and people just stopped playing video games, and we saw a huge crash. And essentially, the market didn't really come back until late 90s and into 2000. And we just didn't see anything really until the PlayStation, I want to say. I mean, really, we had Neo Geos that were like $700 a pop back then, which was like crazy amounts of money. And that didn't do very well. So the question that we have today, and I guess the topic is a little different. We're not asking, will there be a crash? We're saying now that we have all of these mobile apps and these really small companies that are seemingly doing well within this market, are they the saving grace for this industry, or do they hurt the industry? Are they really what we need to keep us going while we get through these AAA titles? Or are we always going to need these AAA titles and we're just going to have to weather the storm and, take it? Like, this crash is inevitable. There's nothing we can do. And we're kind of ready to, I guess, go for a full reboot. I mean, so to start it off, what are your guys' thoughts just in general? We'll start with you, LB, on the idea that we might see a crash. Do you think it's possible? Like, what do you think right now?
Well, technically, I think we're already in the crash. You see, like you already mentioned, you see all these different companies collapsing. You see independent studios collapsing. You see, stuff purchased by EA or other big devs. And they're like, this division is gone. We're relocating this division. It's already happening. As far as if the small guy is necessary compared to the big guy, can you do one without the other? I think you got to have both. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And what about you, Hit? I mean, how do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think we're heading towards some sort of a crash. Like if you just look at the numbers, because numbers don't lie. Like there's been a lot of closures in the last little bit, and it's from both sides, from the big guys to the little guys. So yeah, it's not looking the greatest. I don't think.
So, what do you guys think then when we talk about now? We're right around the corner from E3. We're going to get a brand new platform very, very soon. Um, a lot of people are saying, well, the speculation on this crash is just because we've had an extra long console cycle. We never were supposed to have this 10-year cycle. It's, consumers are used to this 5-year thing, and then they get a new console and then these new games. Is this a reason maybe that we're seeing this doom and gloom that these studios are closing? Is it just that people are so ready for a new console that they're just done buying games? Or are these failures just that people are bored with video games right now? Where do you think we stand with that, LB?
I think it has a factor in it. I think the long console cycle that we're still going through definitely has a decent portion of that reasoning. Refreshing hardware is always nice to evolve or give developers that next level. And generally, you're going to have your AAA developers use that next level of graphics or game features and that kind of thing because they're going to have more things to work with. But I don't think you can solely say, "Hey, because we don't have a new console is the only reason." I think the industry has actually got kind of lazy a little bit in addition to a console where they just want to make that, they want to make the most money with the least amount of input or money spent having to do it. So I think they have gotten lazy, and you really don't have a huge, easy area for indie developers to express what they can do. Sure, they can do it on mobile. You can do it on tablets because it's a lot easier for them, and it costs a lot less. But if you're going to try to do that, like say for Xbox, you still can, but there's still huge barriers in your way.
Right.
Like we found out, if they have to do an update or if they need to make a change, well, it's going to cost them tens of thousands of dollars to do one change.
Right.
And that's if they need to fix something. If they're like, oh my God, we missed this in QA or whatnot, we got to fix it. Now we got to kick out this, $25,000 to do a fix. But later we still want to do a DLC or we still want to do an added feature. Well, that's another $25,000. So
Right.
it can be hard for the little guy.
Well, and I guess that's the other part of it, obviously, is the innovation side, which is what we're talking about in chat right now. We've seen this sort of lull in, iteration, right? I mean, we've seen small iterations over time. And I think a lot of the reasons that a lot of these people are saying that they're going to see a crash is because with these small iterations, you notice that these companies aren't willing to take those risks anymore because studios have kind of gotten accustomed to spending $300 million to produce a game. Whereas it didn't used to cost that much a couple years ago. Now we're seeing movie-style budgets for games where if it flops, that's it. That's a studio closure. You know what I mean? If it goes under, that's it. We saw it. We've seen it with major companies. Star Wars: The Old Republic going, into an MMO. The two top guys left after that failure. They were like, "It is." I was almost surprised that the shop didn't close. Luckily, EA was behind it to keep it going. But we've seen it. So people are less and less innovative because they're spending more and more money and they're afraid to take those risks. So now we see people sort of saying, all right, well, let's get another Call of Duty out there. Let's get another this. We know we'll make at least X amount of dollars. And now what we've seen is even these games like Gears of War and a couple others, they're not selling well. It's almost like not working anymore. The formula isn't working. And I think that kind of gives a little bit of a sign of a crash coming. If you're not willing to take that risk anymore, and with good reason, because there's stockholders, there's people that you need to pay out, where else can you go but down? Where else do you go to innovate? Where is the next innovation? Are we just going to have FPSs from now until eternity? There's a reason I think Halo 4 is not doing that well, and I don't think it's because it's a bad game. I think it's because it's an old game. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Is innovation a big part of the problem? Outside of technology, outside of the new system, what do you think, Hit? Is innovation what's killing us?
Yeah, and yes and no. And same with the hardware, like need to be refreshed. To me personally, I think the problem is the industry is oversaturated. There's too many people making games. There's too many games. Like every week there's some new game that come out, and like you don't have enough time to beat last week's game. Like example for me, BioShock. I'm only a quarter of the way through, and like already like two games already jumped on the queue in front of it now because they're the newer game. It seems like really hard to keep up, and there's too many games. Like too many people making crappy games. Not enough people making good, innovative games. Like the industry in general is just oversaturated, I think.
I mean, I have to say, I fall on the side of thinking that you can't have innovation and be conservative at the same time. And I think they're strangling themselves, essentially. They have no way of making a good game if they don't innovate that good game. But there's no way they can spend that kind of money in order to innovate with the risk involved of if it was to fail. And so I don't really see a pathway out of it. And for me, when I look at these little industry companies that are kind of popping up all over the place, they're running their Kickstarters, they're still making millions of dollars. Maybe that is the injection of innovation we need. It might not be the game for us now, and that might not be the stuff that we're going to play now. But maybe I almost kind of think of them as like the cockroaches of like the Third World War, right? They're the ones that will survive at the end. I hate to call it like that, but I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean, if things go south and we really do hit this huge explosion, and we lose everything and all the AAAs are gone and we lose these big companies, who's going to be around? Innovation is the only thing that can really breathe life back into this industry. And if you don't give a shit about risk, which most indies don't, I mean, obviously they have calculated risk, but you're not talking about $300 million. You're talking about $100,000 or whatever. It's a much more acceptable loss. Maybe they're the ones that are going to be the ones that really take control of this industry and push it forward. But it's so hard to say.
Yeah, but when you got studios like, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
When you got studios like Telltale, they started off as an indie developer. They kind of cheaped out and went the franchise like route, like Back to the Future, Walking Dead, like, and look at how popular they are now because of the Walking Dead franchise. Like, how is an indie guy gonna make it on his own by innovating his own game when you got other indies cheaping out and getting like a big name like Walking Dead to back your game?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at Super Meat Boy. That was extremely successful.
And that was what,
that guy,
two guys working on it?
You saw the indie game dev, the movie. I'm not sure if that's the name, but anyone who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. I mean, you saw what he went through. I mean, literally, the dude's hemorrhaging money. He's just grinding it out with his partner. He, doesn't know if he's going to make it. Finally gets it to market, sends it out, and is just praying to do a little bit, and it takes off. He makes a good amount of money. You still need that to happen. You still need those in the trenches, guts guys to get it done. But along those lines, I don't want my whole gaming experience to be that. I still want the cutting edge stuff. And to get cutting edge stuff, you're not going to get that from an indie developer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to just...
That's true.
They have an idea and what they can do and what they can afford to do. So you've got that fine line. You've got cutting edge or you've got innovation. Hopefully you'll get somewhere in the middle where these guys give a little more leeway and accept the risk, and these guys can come up and, if they get that more money, they can do more and meet in the middle. But who knows if we're going to get that.
Well, I guess that's my question along the lines of the crash. I mean, now that you have all this innovation coming out of these smaller companies, it could be a sustainable model, or one would think that maybe that, these large companies that don't want to take the risk can funnel some of their funds into these smaller companies and build some innovation out of it. Because I just feel like once it starts tilting where, the AAA guys are just, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the smaller guys are getting more and more, kind of pushed to the bottom, there has to be a crash. It's not a sustainable model. And it feels like right now we're headed down that path, because I have to agree with you 100%. Me and you as hardcore gamers or, true enthusiasts, we're going to like something like Limbo, or we're going to maybe dabble in Minecraft or, do that sort of thing. But it's not going to be our central gaming piece. It's a It's like I'm doing it on the side. Ooh, this is a fun game, but people still want AAA. So I feel like there comes a point in time where your want for AAA and their ability to produce is not going to meet up, and you're just going to go do something else with your time. Maybe you start watching movies again. Maybe you'll start reading. Maybe whatever hobby you used to have, it will no longer be worth it for you to spend money on a game that you're going to be disappointed at, or that you're going to pick up like Call of Duty and say, I've played this before. This is just a new Call. I'm bored to tears. I'm done. You know what I mean? And some people are happy with that, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you think there is or do you think you're getting close to that point? I guess that's a good question. Cause I know me personally, I am. Are you getting to a point now where you've bought Halo 4 and are you considering not buying a Halo 5? Like, is that something that you can conceive of going forward?
I think, listen, I'm not going to be an idiot. I will probably end up buying Halo 5 at some point in time, guaranteed. Now, will I be the guy at midnight getting there an hour and a half beforehand, standing in line, got to have it?
Right.
I don't know, because, specifically with this title, I feel a little bit cheated a little bit. And what I was promised or what was said was going to happen, you had a whole different story come out. So that's a whole nother topic anyway. So there's still that I'm kind of like, I don't know. But if we're just talking like AAA, like Bungie with Destiny, honestly, if there was no video, no press release, nothing at E3 coming out, or at E3 you just came out and said, second week in September, our game's coming out, go pre-order. I'm pre-ordering that motherfucker. I don't even know, it's happening. I'm getting that game. I love Bungie, and I'm going to roll the dice. So it really depends, but we'll see what the future holds. You know what I mean?
And that's based off your knowledge that Bungie creates innovative games, right? that's that they take the risk. And I think of what made Halo so shitty and why Bungie wanted out so badly was because that was a sort of self-suffocating place they'd put themselves in. Like they'd stifled all ability to sort of redesign or reinvent any sort of wheel. It was like, all right, we're an FPS developer now. We develop this one title and we just keep doing it. This is what we do. And they wanted to get out. And so I see that. I see those glimmers of hope in people like Bungie and other companies. But at the end of the day, if we get Destiny and it's just another FPS set in a different world, I don't know. Now, you're a super fan of Halo. I would say more than LB. Do you see a future where you don't buy Halo?
No.
Really?
I see a future where Halo might not be my primary game, but I'll definitely buy it. Like, I still buy Call of Duties, but they're not my main game. Like, I'll dabble in them and maybe beat the campaign, and that's about it. But I can see myself doing that with Halo, but not Halo 5. Maybe Halo 6. We'll see. I don't know.
So I guess then the question is, I almost feel like we're saying there will be a crash, right? Or they're headed towards one. Let's at least say that. They are definitely headed towards one. Now that we have these independents and there is an ability for them to make money with less risk, we see a lot of the AAA companies diversifying their portfolios. Like EA has a huge they bought PopCap Games. Like they're not stupid, right? They're not dumb. They know where risk is and they know where to put their money, and they know if they hit it big, they're going to have a big franchise on their hands. But at the same time, they're diversifying, which we didn't really see in the 80s. We didn't really have that ability to diversify in the 80s. So now that we see them sort of, EA's pushing mobile, they're doing casual, is that enough to sustain them through this time? Like, is that going to be what sort of softens the blow? And then are guys like us going to be the dinosaurs where we just don't play hardcore video games anymore because they don't make them anymore? Like AAAs just kind of go away, and then it's like, hey, did you see that new game on Facebook? It's pretty dope. Super casual.
Listen, if it got to that, if like Facebook or Google Plus is my outlet for my gaming, I'm done.
You're out.
That is, for me, that is not it. Yeah, maybe I'll, like you said, dabble with it, but I can't think of any game from Facebook where I'm like, oh my god, I got to get home and I've got to finish up the next 3 chapters of this Facebook game. Fuck that. No way, man. Kill me.
Wow. Well,
Put a, you know.
people have. I mean, and this is probably the best example, but it's a very. There's only really one. Minecraft has been that game that has been able to bridge the gap. It was made by one dude. Now it's got it. Now obviously more developers, but started by one dude, built in like Perl or some weird fucking. I can't remember the scripting language. Like he built it on some weird language. Did it by himself, and it's become I don't want to say AAA, but a popular enough game where people play it on a daily basis for multiple hours a day on several different platforms. Is that the future of gaming? Is a game like Minecraft where it doesn't have to be the most like blow your mind deal, like, and you'll play it you'll play it hardcore? Because I would say there are hardcore gamers that play Minecraft. I would say that. I would say that even within our own community, there are people that are hardcore into Minecraft, and I would call them hardcore gamers. So is that the future? Is that what gets us through? Is that level of innovation? Is that what we need?
I hope not.
No? Look how sad.
I think it has its place. Like you say, I mean, look at the numbers. The numbers, facts are facts. Numbers are numbers.
Right.
Units sold, units, DLC for little fucking costumes or whatever it is. Xbox download, PS3. Yeah. There is definitely, that market is there, and that market is established and proven. If you make a good game, it can happen. Now, as much as they've sold, I don't think every gamer or 90% of the gaming people out there all play Minecraft all the time. Maybe did they dabble in it and say, oh yeah, I played like a week and it was great. Now they've moved on to something else.
Right.
Do you have a good percentage of people who are like, I only play Minecraft. That is the game I only play. Screw everything else. I don't know. I that would be interesting to see a survey on. But I don't think it's like your major percentage of gamers that say, yeah, I'm only a Minecrafter,
Right, but if you look at, Xbox Live activity feed, you'll see that, first of all, it was number one for like 4 months. Right. And I think it's only just recently been beaten out by, Black Ops, right? So, like, it's still number 2. I mean, that's a large community. And if that isn't at least telling of how people are feeling about AAA games, I don't know what is. Like, I don't know a better example. And I think it goes down. I think there's a lot of factors. And I have to say one of the big factors that Hit brought up of just that there's so many games. I think it's like people get so confused and there's too many games to play and they're not really particularly good, but there are a lot of them that they just go back to whatever it is that they know. And it's what I call the Warcraft syndrome. Why I play Warcraft all the time is because I like MMOs, but every time I play a new MMO, I'm like, well, yeah, I could play this, but like it doesn't do anything significantly different than the game I'm currently playing, and I already have all this time invested in this game, so why am I going to shift all my time? Because you only have a certain amount of time in a day to play a game, and if it isn't new to the point of like, wow, this is totally different, then you just say to yourself, well, maybe I'll play it for a couple hours, but then I'm just going to go back to what I know. Because what I know is at least fun. It's something, I have a community there. I have, investment of time there, and that's it. And I feel like because a lot of these games have that sort of feature of really trying to suck you in and build a community out of it, you're stuck. Like there's no reason to move on. There's no reason to play another, if you're a Halo guy, you're a Halo guy. If you're a Call of Duty guy, you're a Call of Duty guy. If you're a Warcraft guy, you're a Warcraft guy. If you're a Forza guy, you're a Forza guy. Like, are Forza guys playing other racing games? Maybe for funsies, but are they like dedicated? Are they going to switch their franchise? And is that a part of the problem? And it's like, hey, this is the game I play. I am a this person player, and that's all I do. I mean, you kind of dabble a little bit more, LB, so I think you're kind of a good barometer there. Like, do you actively try to get into new games and it just fails? Like, is that kind of how it goes?
Well, if I think I'm going to like really try some and just, because of the money situations right now, right. Like your free to play games, I'm all about giving those a shot. Well, let's see what I can do with that. It doesn't, right. If I can get the full game and don't have to invest cash or a minimal amount of cash to try it out, see if I like it, I'm all for it. But if there's something new on the market that, again, it goes back to the social thing. If a bunch of my friends are doing, then I'll be willing to depart with the cash. I'll give it a shot. But if I'm the only one, even if like I'm really interested in trying BioShock in the newest version of BioShock, but I'm definitely going to wait till I can get it cheaper, or even I might even go the Steam route, where when it finally does drop and I get it super dirt ass cheap, then I can go ahead and get it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, no one wants to. It's like they don't want to take the risk to innovate, and now I feel like consumers don't want to take the risk to buy. Yep. And like that combination is deadly. It's like, well, I'm not going to waste $60 to be disappointed with just another Call of Duty or another WoW clone or another whatever it is. I'm just going to wait. And so,
or is it going to work?
Is it going to work?
That's
yeah, that's a whole. I mean, that's a topic that we pretty much do weekly at this point. Is it actually going to function? And I think that's part of it. It's people don't want to waste all of that money for the hopes that their game will work and the hopes that it will be innovative and the hopes that it will take them away from what other game they're currently playing. And it's just, it stagnates. And I don't know that there's any other way out other than having all these closures. And let's go over some of the, how many closures have we had?
No.
I mean,
hold on. Before you go on. No, I don't think they need closures. I think they need to stop making Call of Duties every year. Assassin's Creeds every year. Like I think that's one of the biggest things, because how is like a little guy gonna expand more if you got freaking what's it called, Call of Duty guys, Activision, making a fucking Call of Duty every year? Like, it's ridiculous. On top of the fact that there's so many of them to play.
Well, but that's the problem, right? They can't stop doing it because it's the only thing that keeps revenue coming in. It's like you're asking them, hey, can you guys stop selling the only thing that keeps you in business so that we can have some innovative games? No, that's how a crash happens. It's because eventually no one even buys those games and there's just no more money to be spent. So that's a very pie in the sky theory. I like it. That'd be great. But it also means if that time ever happens, then this industry's fucked, right? I mean, like, there has to be that point where shit hits the fan, or there is no game.
A wake-up call.
There needs to be a wake-up call. And so, and I think there kind of has been a wake-up call. I think over the last, over 2012, we've seen LucasArts just closed. They've been around for forever, since I was a kid. The Epic Mickey Studio, they closed.
Junction Point.
Right, from Junction Point. Yeah, they're done. THQ, which for forever. Whole fucking company gone.
Yeah, whole company gone.
The 38 Studios, which I don't really count because that was kind of poorly managed, unfortunately. But Big Huge Games was a great company, got bought out, then just demolished. Epic obviously closed a lot of that stuff.
I even think Epic's getting out of the industry.
And they're saying now, a company like Epic is thinking about, Gears
just producing engine.
Their engine, right? And so you see this sort of deal happening all around, and it's almost like the signs are all around. Now, at some point we're gonna whittle down. We're gonna get down to like 3. I feel like we're gonna get down to like the 2. We'll have like EA and Blizzard, Activision. And then and obviously like Microsoft and Sony publishing as well. But
you don't see Nintendo in there?
Well, that's the thing. No. I mean, another thing we saw today on IGN was that, or it was at GameStop. Yeah, I think it was GameStop. That Nintendo was discussing why it's returning to its existing franchises. And it's almost like an article that doesn't need to be written, right? It's like, oh, you mean you think it's safer to just release Zelda games? Well, no shit. Because no one even trusts, when you don't trust Nintendo anymore to create a kick-ass new IP that's like fun and innovative, I feel like that is the most telling sign that we are in some deep shit. If Nintendo can't do something fun and different anymore, and gamers aren't even buying it anymore, like after the Wii, we don't even trust Nintendo anymore. We're like, it's not gonna be that good. Like we see the Wii U and we're like, oh, that's a flop. No one even left their house to look at a Wii U when it came out.
That stat you guys had on your podcast where how many of the listeners have a Wii U that don't? It was like, what, 7-1?
Yeah, 7-1. 3 people total.
Hilarious.
3 people total had them, and only one of them actually played it. That's like they went out and they bought it and then they put it under their shelf and they were like, well, I got that there. So there's that there. I'm not going to do anything with it. It just sits there. And that to me is like the scariest of all the stuff we talk about. Like when I read that Nintendo's basically saying like, we can't even innovate anymore, or that maybe that consumers just don't, I feel like we don't know what we want. It's like we get the innovation, but we're like, oh, but that's too innovative. Like what you're doing over there with Nintendo, that's too much. I want a little bit more of my like Call of Duty-ness. But then we get Call of Duty and we're like, oh, it's Call of Duty again. Like we're like shocked that it's the same game. We're like, but I didn't want like that much of the old Call of Duty. I wanted like a little bit more, but then some of the like, I feel like they can't win. I feel like there's just no way to win anymore. So I don't know.
Well, I think your major developers and stuff, they need to realize that they can't expect to make huge, giant profits all the time.
Yeah.
And I understand they're tied to share owners, and I know that's an evil bed that's full of bullshit. I think that, if you make a profit, no matter the percentage of profit, you are a success. You have profited. You've made more money that you've spent, and you can keep the lights on, feed your family, high five. Instead of this huge bajillions of dollars that have to come in to be considered successful. And I think that's what all these developers want. They want, well, if I spend $200 million to make this game, I want to see $15 billion in profit. That will never happen. No, you are delusional. That is not going to happen. And I think they need to bring it back. I think the shareholders of these companies need to fucking suck it up. If you're making money and you're making a decent percentage, don't be like, oh yeah, I made 10%, but I want to make 45%. Fuck you. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. So these companies have to realize that. And with this next generation of consoles, they have to be willing to go out on that limb to sustain. If they just think that this next console is going to come out and they can just do what they've been doing for the past 2 to 3 years and they're going to make it 10 years, you're done. You're going to be Nintendo.
Right.
You're going to be out of business. Sayonara. Adios. You're gone.
Well, the big problem with that is they don't care about profits, right? I think it's like a common misconception that the companies actually care about profits. They do. They want profits, but what they really want to see is growth, right? They don't judge success in a business unless that business is growing. Shareholders will flee when they see any sort of stagnation in a company. That's generally how you do it. Because as a company, if you're investing in it, you want to see a percentage of growth over X amount of years. You don't just want to see them making money or making a profit. You want to see them expanding, right? Because the more they expand, the bigger your portfolio gets. So that's the problem.
But it's not like that, though. You can still have growth. Like, say, you've got that extra, you're showing 2% to 4% every year. Well, that's fine. But then they get to the point where, like, 2 to 4% every year is bullshit. I want 9 to 10%.
Exactly.
It keeps compounding upon itself. And it's greed, and it is what it is. But, if you're growing, that's great. If you're growing by these giant numbers, you can't expect to continue that for year after year. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. It's going to stop.
Right. And you brought up a good point too, Plato, in chat, which is market share is always the issue. And a lot of what they're talking about another reason for this collapse that's inevitable is we've essentially reached market saturation, right? Like there are no more gamers anymore. The new gamers are the casual gamers. That's the new market. But gamers, we've hit it. We're done. There's no more. So we don't have growth anymore. And now we don't have any growth, but at the same time, we have more companies producing more games at an alarming rate. And your ability to play all these games becomes less and less because you have less and less time. What are you going to do, right? So now the company can't grow. They don't see that 6% return that turns into a 10% return that turns into 50%. That's gone because there's just no more. There's no more. It's done. There has to be a collapse. And maybe you're right, LB. Maybe the key is really like greed is obviously running this industry now. It wasn't before, right? I mean, it always is in some way. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to make money. But a company like
Absolutely.
old Blizzard from back in the day when it got into the business didn't get into the business to make $1 bajillion. They do now. But their innovation and their desire to build a great game is what got them to the pinnacle of where they are. Same thing goes for Bungie. Halo was started in Chicago, Illinois by two dudes trying to make a new game. That's it, right? And it all goes back to David versus Goliath. You need those small companies there who are going to innovate and hit it big and become something great. And I think Minecraft is a weird sort of bridge between that because now it is that big company. It still keeps to that sort of 8-bit deal, but it's still it's a big company now. It's, you know, that dude Notch is fucking rich. That dude is like, he has fucking Lamborghinis and bitches. He's driving around. He got a plane, all that shit. He doesn't care. 8-bit plane. He's bald, right? And maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need the business to get out of the way. And I know that's very liberal of me to say, but at some point, it's got to be. Right? In order to have the innovation, in order to do this, someone needs to step up to the table and make a game because the game is good. But you need that backing. I don't know.
What do you think about? Do you think Nintendo needs to die in order for the industry to wake up?
Wow.
No.
Kind of like how
don't-
Sega died. You know what I mean?
No, honestly, I don't think Sony and Microsoft give a shit if Nintendo dies. Honestly.
They want Nintendo to die.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they're not like, oh, sweet, Nintendo's dead. We've succeeded. No. They want to see each other die. That's when they were like, yeah, take it, bitch. That's when they were like, that's when they will celebrate when they've defeated that. Nintendo now, I don't even know if I want to put them in the third place. I think you've got like mobile. That's
Ouch.
almost a bigger.
Oh, bro, you're killing me.
I'm sorry that I don't give a shit about Nintendo. I don't. 0 fucks are given about Nintendo. I am not going to spend, if I could go out and get a Wii U for $50 with 8 games, nah, I got a headset that I need to buy to play.
Oh, bro.
I'm going to put that money towards a headset before I get some fucking Nintendo game. I don't care. That ship has sailed.
Yeah, perfect.
That makes me so
Perfect.
sad.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
That's where they're at.
Yeah, but it's still market share, right? So if Nintendo fails, there's gamers to gobble up. Maybe they're like not the gamers that they particularly want, but there's a reason that we have the Kinect and there's a reason we have the eye motion and all that shit. That's literally to like try to get the remaining Nintendo people over, right? Like those silly games and all that stuff. That's still there. So Nintendo failing is still a win for those guys, right? Like it's still there is a shared market there. You don't perceive it because of where we are, but there is the Kinect, there is the iMove, there is all that bullshit, those fun little sports games. They exist. So if Nintendo fails, let's say they go the Sega route, they fail, right?
Right.
They can't totally fail. They will probably become the next Sega. They will make games and publish them. So having Legend of Zelda on your Xbox 360, I think for a company like Microsoft, they want that. Like now they have a new IP to sell to their... Look, if Legend of Zelda comes on the Xbox 360 and is like beefed up graphics and shit, I will fucking shit my pants. I will shit my pants every day until it's released. It will just be a bag of shit that I carry around with me because that's how excited I am.
Wow.
Will you not be? I mean, I don't know. Come on. It sounds fantastic.
Where's the innovation in that?
I'll tell you where the innovation
Zero
is.
fucks, dude.
I used to...
If they're gonna have
No,
if it's gonna be like $60, or like, hey, buy this 64-bit or whatever fucking super high def 4000K Zelda, and it's gonna cost you $60. Whatever.
Wow.
No, I'll definitely buy Zelda. Don't worry.
Dude, I'd be all over that shit. Bro, I'd be all over that shit, and I'd be like, oh, it's so innovative. I'd be that guy. I'm the guy that's ruining the industry. I'd be like in line. It'd be like 1 a.m. I'd be like, oh, Zelda. Skeet, skeet, skeet. I would. I can't help it.
I mean, you could even say the same thing for me. If they went, all right, you're gonna have Halo 2 and the brand new fucking engine. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I'm not gonna go out and run out and spend $60 on it. No.
Wow.
Nope.
You wouldn't do a Halo 2 anniversary?
No, I'm not gonna spend $60 on it. After like, okay, it's gonna be $10. All right, Give it a shot.
No, but we're not talking about like a
$60 on it.
remade Zelda.
No.
We're talking about a brand new Zelda on a real engine for once in its shitty life. I'm buying it right now.
I definitely would too.
Literally, here's some money. I'm throwing it at my screen. Give it to me. Sorry. I apologize, everybody. Exactly. I think we said all we need to say. So let's wrap it up. Is the industry dying? LB, how about this? Give me a time frame for the crash. When do you think do you think we're going to get 5 years out of this next console? Or do you think by the end of this next console's lifespan, shit will have hit the fan? What do you think?
We'll get the 5 years.
We'll get the 5
Will we get to 10 years? It's gonna really depend. I think they need to change some major things about their thinking and how they need to become more open and willing to embrace other things without having to get 95% return on everything.
What about you?
I think we'll make 5 years easily. I think we'll make 10 years easily. I think the industry will be completely different by then, especially with, digital only will probably be a thing. I'm sure someone's going to die at that point. Like, I don't know about Nintendo, but
Nintendo.
Yeah, what's the over under on Nintendo? What's the over under? I mean, where do you screw the industry? Where's Nintendo in the next 5 years? Are they dead?
Done.
Really? Next 5 years are gone.
I'm saying at best they'll go the licensing route. At best.
No, I say 10 years because you know that they're going to try one more time with the hardware, at least one more time, and that's still like 3 years away, maybe.
Wow. You guys are.
There's no way they would call
this
it
is a dark group.
They won't call it a night after the Wii U. They're definitely going to try one more time. They have too much money. They have like a war chest, like $100 billion. It's ridiculous.
I like when you make up numbers. It's like my favorite.
Well, I made up that number, but
right.
They're not that far behind on Apple. Like Apple's got what, 200 billion? I'm pretty sure Nintendo's got 20 to 25 just sitting.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, they've made all their money on their handhelds. They've done a great job, but even that market now, this is why Nintendo's in such shit. And I don't want to get off on a tangent. Maybe we could do a whole other topic on Nintendo. But the mobile market's now taken over from Apple. They can't even sell their handhelds anymore. So, like, they have a shit console. They have a shit handheld. Where does Nintendo go? So I'm going to give Nintendo 5 years. I'm going to give them 5 years, and I'm going to give this industry 5 years as well. I don't think it'll crash because of what we talked about with all the other independents, but I do think we will see a big difference in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
A big, big difference because it's got to end at some point. This is like ridiculous. Can't have $500 million production video games who only sell 300 units. And that's like, that cycle can't last. It just can't.
One thing I've always wondered about, like with the whole going digital only, do you need a publisher if you're going digital only? No, right? So like,
well, what do you need a publisher for?
Huge change to the industry.
Publisher pays for also advertising, which I think is a very crucial point to make.
But you can advertise on the 360 dashboard, the PlayStation dashboard.
Yeah, but somebody has to pay for it. Money comes from somewhere. So the publisher, the guy that's actually shipping and doing all that stuff, the box art, all that crap, that's a lot of money. I mean, sometimes. I can't remember. There was a figure like of what Halo spent on like launch day. And I remember this was like Halo 3. I want to say they spent like 10, 15 million just to launch it. It's a lot of fucking money. So they won't need them to ship, but someone's got to be pimping their shit at some point. You know what I mean? And someone's got to do their support. That's the other thing. Like when you buy an EA game or anything that's like launched through EA, if you have a problem, like with Star Wars or whatever, generally speaking, you're going through EA. Like that's the channels that you're using. You know, it's their support. They're the people you talk to. They do the replace. They do everything. You know, as a developer, your only job, if you have that, producer or whatever on the side, your only job is to make the game. That's it. After that, you hand their shit off and they do everything else. So I don't know. I think you'll still have them in some form. Maybe not as big because distribution will be cut out, but still pretty big. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. A pretty good show. Apparently, Nintendo's going to be gone in 5 years, and this industry's going to be dead, so we're not going to have a show. So this might be the last one. I don't see the point anymore. It's doom and gloom.
Wow.
It's the saddest show we've ever had. LB, since we're no longer going to be talking about video games, if they want to hit you up on the internet for, I don't know, maybe movie advice or stuff like that, where can they do that?
You can find me at Steam, on Xbox Live, on PSN, at Too Old to Play, at pretty much everywhere. Twitter.
Pinterest.
No Pinterest.
You do a lot of artwork.
No
on
Pinterest.
Okay, no. No, I'm sorry.
LBSUTKE.
Hitman, if you want to drop some sick knowledge on them.
I don't know what sick knowledge.
Sick knowledge. Where are they going to get that sick knowledge from?
Well, you can follow me on all those same things that LB just said: Xbox, PlayStation, blah blah blah. At i6hitman, twitter.com/i6hitman, or my gaming live stream channel at twitch.tv/Watchtower Games.
Good stuff. Is there a new hit coming up soon or no?
No. I don't think there's anything.
There's no games coming out.
I haven't really looked that far ahead. Like, if people have suggestions, I'd be willing to.
You should do a quick hits for Minecraft. Is what you should do. I'll play it with you. It'd be fantastic. Me and you play Minecraft.
You know who's really into Minecraft?
Who?
You know who's really into Minecraft?
Who?
Scares me.
Who?
Dixon.
I know Dixon. How about you two doing the quick hit together?
He'd be yelling at me the whole time.
That's
Or Bubba. Actually, Bubba is really into his Minecraft. He's
well, let's think
big
about it.
time.
I just like blowing shit up.
All right, if you want to find me, I'm on everything at Dude I Rock, DOODIROCK. I'm a very important person to know. So you might as well know me. Good stuff. As always, chat is getting better and better. You know what? Chat's fantastic now. You get Play-Doh in there, you get sarcasm, you get G40. It's a fucking good time. Having a great time. Anyway, next week we'll talk about something. I don't know. Because now what we've done is we've just created new topics 4 minutes before the show goes live, which makes things really easy to do. It's great. I love it. So with that, we'll see you guys next week. Thursdays is the new day. 6:30 Central, 4:30 LB's shitty time, and 7:30 Eastern. LB, what's your shitty time again?
Pacific or West Coast?
West Coast with side. All right, we'll see you guys next week.